So welcome and good morning to our Monday motivational meetup. My name's Gail Prechtel, and I'm in business development in the aesthetic field. I'm the founder of New Med Concepts, and that's where I am an independent rep, sell through products like Image Skincare, Nanofusion, LifeWave products, and I'm constantly adding, and especially now too, have a lot of exciting things coming up for you. So today we're talking about 8 ways to pivot your business in a crisis. And some of the sources that I used, and you'll see as we go along, but the concept, I actually read an article in Entrepreneur Magazine about pivoting your business. And so I took some of the ideas and kind of pulled some other ideas together on from state board and some of our governing agencies and just businesses in general. And then also looked at some of the big box stores. How are they recovering? What are they doing? So Nordstrom had some fantastic ideas. So from different companies, pulling them all together, like from LifeWave had some amazing ideas, Image Skincare, Primal Coaching, how to pivot our business in crisis. So this was a saying by Maya Angelou. And if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. And I think we can all relate to that. That's very true. And then another fellow, I think a lot of you may know as well, put it in a little bit different way. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's by Wayne Dyer. So I just ask today that maybe you open your minds and open our hearts and just really, it's time for us to get creative and think outside the box and think of ways that we can do business a little bit differently. Right now, we're looking at empty chairs, closed spas. Obviously, we're not doing any services right now. So it is heartbreaking. But so we have to take this pandemic, this crisis, this situation, and maybe look at it a little bit differently and explore how we can make this better, how we can learn from this and how we can make this better. So one of the things when we look at our business, obviously we can't do any services, but state board does not mandate what you sell. And I will ask, I love birds, I really do. I love birds, and I could hear the birds in the background. But while I'm going through the presentation, I forgot to mention this, if you wouldn't mind muting yourselves, so that's a little bit more quiet for the presentation part. And then when each of us has something to add, then you can unmute yourself, and you can certainly ask questions. And I'm going to give you a special time at the end too to really kind of have an open forum for that, and then we can unmute ourselves, and then when you're not talking to mute back, and that way we can hear everybody a little bit better. But thank you so much. So how we go about changing things. So in our business, state board does not mandate what we sell, so that's a huge opportunity for us. And you've probably heard me say this before, you know, some of the stats on business out there. When you have a spa business, you're looking at probably your goal would be 50-50. You know, if you're doing services, 50% of your services, your money should be coming from the services, and 50% should be coming from retail. And in actually some of the bigger chains, like the spas and your franchises, your cruise ships, which they've really been hurt, but those are all bigger franchise outlets. They are looking at 70-30, and that's 70% retail to 30% of your services. And they do that. They're really great at selling through on retail. So a huge amount of income can come through your retail sales. And I think you're all familiar with that. and it's wide open. There's no mandate on what you sell. That's wide open. Now, there are things like, you want to be able to set up your business properly, and you need to, check with the state about getting a retail sales tax certificate and talking with an accountant and see how you want to handle your sales. But you should do it properly. It's really super easy to set up. But to set yourself up for business and retailing. So we're going to kind of talk about some of those ways. And with retailing, you can accelerate your online fulfillment. So fulfilling your clients' needs, you can do that through the products. 90% of your result, and no matter if you're in medical or if you're in spa services, 90% of your result is what they're doing every day at home. You could do all kinds of fancy laser and surgery, but you've got to maintain that, and you've got to keep that up. So you've got home care products to help you do that. We're also going to look at scaling up your existing offerings. So maybe taking a look at some of the things that you had, and how can you scale up on that? And maybe looking at your store collections. What do you have now, and how we can expand on that? And then redirecting some of your expenses. You're all probably thinking about that now. Without a lot of money coming in right now, let's take a look at what money's going out, and really trying to hold on to our cash right now to get us through this. So maybe redirecting some of those things that we were spending on before, and maybe finding a better use for that, allocating that money. But above all else, we need to protect people. We need to protect ourselves and our families and our clients. So we have an obligation to protect the health and safety of employees. Some of you have businesses where you actually do have employees, the patrons, and yourselves. And you all know our business is extremely intimate. We're very close to people. We're exfoliating, we're shedding skin cells, we're rubbing on them, we're, in their face, we're really super close to people. That's a lot of intimate interaction with people. So we really have to take time to decrease that risk of contamination at the workplace. So maybe now that you have time, some of you, I know that you're not supposed to travel right now. Some of you do have access, though. You have your business, you're in your home. But if you do have access, now's the time to think about cleaning and doing a super deep cleaning. I'm sure you probably already have, but really going through everything. And we also have to think about the distribution as well, because if you are selling products and you're mailing them, people want to know what are you doing to help protect them when they get those products. So, and I know people have asked me that question too. Well, what about in the warehouse? How are they packing? But they have cut down. They're doing social distancing in the warehouse. They have cut down on the amount of people that are back there. They are wearing gloves, things like that. So thinking about everything that we touch, everything that we do, how that affects us, our families, and our clients. Now, I'm going to be having a seminar coming up here pretty soon on sanitation. And my husband's actually in the antimicrobial business, and they have technology that's pretty incredible. It's a different technology. It is EPA approved and all of that, so it's absolutely ready to go. It's being used in hospitals right now. It's being used for first responders and everything else. And I wish I had it available for you right now, because I know hand sanitizers and disinfectants are really hard to get a hold of right now. And it's the same thing with my husband's company. Even though he's right there, it's going to the places that are in desperate need of it right now. We've got issues with containers. They don't even have containers to be able to put hand sanitizer in. Um, all they can do right now is they're selling in bulk, like totes and barrels, and they're sending it to people that need it the most. So it's going out to medical and first responders and police and that kind of thing. But then at some point, we'll be able to catch up, and then some of those things will be more readily available. But I will have a special sanitation webinar coming up probably in a couple of weeks or so, and talking about some of the new technologies, because this is going to be really important for the future of our business. We're not going to be able to do business the way that we've been doing it. You absolutely can't. It's going to have to be a big overhaul for us, and something very serious, and protocols will have to be put in place. So we'll talk more about that another day. But I did want to just review, I know you've heard this all before, but just basic measures to think about. Reiterating the importance of workers to stay home if they feel ill, potential screening or sending some individuals home. Obviously now everybody's home. But if you have employees, even delivering and that kind of thing, or packing for you or cleaning your spa, to think about maybe not having them do that right now and just really isolating. We're at the peak, so it's really important that we maintain that social distancing. Implementing requirements like frequent hand washing, sanitation of services, equip employees with all the necessary protection like gloves, disinfecting wipes. Having that available in your spa for the people that are working for you is super important. Canceling all gatherings, obviously. Identifying high-risk employees and consider other options for them. Maybe there's other work assignments that would be better for somebody that has immune deficiencies or something like that are more high risk. Non-essential travel, we're all abiding by that. Deep cleaning your spa, your meeting rooms, elevators, air purifiers. I guess I just bought mine just in time, because I did go online and I did buy another ozone. Ozone is excellent for killing viruses and bacteria in your environment, and you can get little machines that help with your home and your environment, or you're at work, you can use them. And there's some that also, I know after I went online a couple days later, I tried to go online again to purchase another one and for someone else, and they were all sold out. But there are some that are UV as well. I have one that's ozone and UV. But think about maybe looking at, when they become available, some air purifiers to help purify your air too. That'll help to kill bacteria and viruses in the air. Making sure now there's no more, snack areas in the spa. There's no more shared food and refreshments. You're gonna have to be super careful with all of that. And then having an emergency plan. Not many of us think about emergencies. We think it's never going to happen, but now is probably a good time, while you do have some time at home and you do have some time to restructure your business, think about putting an emergency plan in place. Communication's paramount. Over communicating, I know sometimes I thought, oh, I shouldn't repeat this, just like I just repeated a bunch of things that I know you've heard a million times, but it's something that we need to keep repeating. And over communicating this is never too much. So sometimes it just hits somebody a little differently, or they're like, yeah, I know. And then all of a sudden you hear something a little differently, and then they go, oh yeah, a light goes on, and maybe I shouldn't do that. Or yeah, maybe I should go do this. So constantly communicating with our clients through all ways, through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. People also want to know, it's like reassurance for them that you are doing these things, that you are cognizant of all the things that you're supposed to be doing, and that you are actually doing them. Even businesses that I'm doing business with right now, I'm looking to see, what are they doing? And so I check on their website and see if they are following certain protocols, and making sure that they are before I want to even do business with them. So it's not too much to let your clients know that you're taking every precaution, and you need to reiterate that to your clients. So now's a good time too to take inventory. You know, as we mentioned, really saving and conserving cash right now, going through your inventory, seeing what you have, checking all your expiration dates, whatever's getting close to expiring, whatever your slow movers are, maybe have some things on your shelf that aren't moving as well. Now's the time to pull all that together, think about it, get a plan in place, get your promotions in place, start bundling those things together so that you can offer promotions and sell them through to your clients, retailing them. So prioritize and then schedule training. So if you do have some slow movers, right now Image has a ton of webinars on everything from product knowledge to certain skin conditions. So these are all things that you can do right now. If there's certain products, maybe they're not moving because you're not that educated on them, or maybe that's really not your skin type, but it might be somebody else's. Go online, read up a little bit more about it, maybe get 1 or 2 points on that product that's not moving and highlight it, and then bundle it with something else that is too. And now's the time to really think, okay, about your clients. You can look back now and see what is your clientele? Who are those people? What have they been purchasing in the past? What are your big sellers? And I see this all the time. Everybody thinks they know what it is, but I'd like you to go back and actually look at your inventory and look at what you've been ordering. And if you need help with that, I can help you with that, because I have records through Image of, if you're buying skincare products, everything that you've purchased, and take a look at it. And we can see, because it's amazing how many people say, oh no, I sell a ton of this. And then I look at their buying pattern and I say, well, gee, you ordered an awful lot of this. And they're surprised at what they're selling. They don't even realize what they're selling. And maybe they're thinking that the things that are their top sellers they're really just the things that they like themselves, that they're their favorites, but it's really not what's selling. So we have to really think about what has been successful so far. What are your clients, what have they loved in the past? And what are those clients looking for? Obviously, like in the picture, everybody's looking for toilet paper right now. So that's a hot commodity, is toilet paper. But besides that, what else are they looking for? So highlighting the areas where the market share has been gained or lost. Also look at the things that aren't selling. Look at what people are not using right now. And this is just a small example, but this is how we have to think of all the little things that are possible. Okay, I'm used to getting my nails done all the time, probably like many of you. And then I just had to take them all off myself this weekend, which is painstaking. And then I realized too how bad off my nails are, underneath. And so now I'm trying to get them back and get them healthy. So a perfect thing that I'm using right now is the Image facial oil, because I'm conditioning my cuticles, I'm conditioning the nail bed again, trying to get my nails back healthy again. So now I can reposition a product that I really didn't use the facial oil, but I have it. I hardly use it at all. Every now and then, every blue moon, I might think about using it to condition my facial skin. But now I'm using it every day on my fingers, my toenails, my fingernails. I'm getting my nails as healthy as possible. So thinking about things that maybe were not big sellers, that was not a big seller for me, a big product that I used, but now I'm repositioning it and I'm using it every day. So maybe what they're not ordering, maybe have them, thinking about things a little bit differently. And what are those clients interested in? What are their interests, and how do we nurture those needs? So the pandemic has really also taught us the importance of rapid response. And I just like this picture because I thought it was so cute. I don't know how many of you may have noticed on TV, they showed a couple that got married and they had their pastor online. So he was the only one in the room online, but they were videotaping it. of the couple getting married. So, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and they were able to broadcast it to everybody, and they had their wedding online. But I thought that was pretty cool. But responding, that was a quick way to respond. Instead of canceling the wedding, they said, let's just do it online. So they thought quickly and they went ahead and got married. So we have to think quickly. And we notice the people that are successful, the companies that are rebounding very quickly, are the ones that acted quickly. So we need to act quickly. I know it's nice to have a little break and to stay home in our pajamas, but now's the time to act quickly and be prepared so you don't lose momentum with your clients. So keeping that continuity of your supply and the availability, from your cleaning supplies to skincare products, you know, how available are those? You know, thinking about planning that out. Adopting to your online channel operations. What that means is, you know, now we're changing the way we're doing business. Everything's online. So thinking about who can be online, also the type of channels. Not everybody has Zoom or is available or knows about how to use webinars and Zoom. Some people are very Facebook prone. Some people still communicate through emails. And that's one that I've seen in this industry fall off, is email, but that it's still super important. And it really does give you results when you email clients. So using all those channels together instead of just one. You know, I'm having to start to learn Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I'm not comfortable with it, but I have to open my mind. I have to change the way I'm looking at it. And I'm going to have to start doing some live Facebook presentations and things like that, things I'm not real comfortable with. But we have to expand. So we're in the business of problem solving. That's what we do. So when a client has a problem or a pain, we help to relieve the problem and we help to soothe the pain. And you know that every day you go in, and we've been dealing with all kinds of skin issues, like from acne to aging to rosacea to pigment. These are all concerns. These are all problems. And these are things that we do is we find solutions. So we're looking for other solutions in other ways online. So how can we do this without seeing somebody in person? So how are we going to pivot our business? So let's talk about the 8 pivot points. So first of all is to simplify. We really want to strip down the solution and focus on a key feature. So I know it's easy to get overwhelmed because we talked about a lot of different things, a lot of different avenues that you can go, but keep it simple. So what's your main service? What was your main service that you love to do? You know, some of you might have been in waxing, or some of you might have really done extractions well, or whatever it was. Think about what your focus was and what products did you move through that focus. Now you have clients that those are the kind of products that they want to continue using. So that's going to be your low-hanging fruit. That's going to be an easy one to start working with that. But we also need to think about how can we make that different? How can we make that better? So even with a consult, you know, I know all of us have done consults to help find out what's going on with someone, but how can you make that a little bit different? Well, now you've got a virtual consult. So you can do that through FaceTime, you can do it through your smartphones, you could do it through webinars, some kind of online communication. You can also, you know, with Image, I sent out a packet, a marketing packet, and you have all of the consults already done for you that are already prepared that you can send to a client electronically. But maybe changing it up a little bit. Has anybody done the skin fitness test? You know, instead of calling it a consult, utilize your skin fitness test. And that's something that's already done for you as well, that you can download and you can send it to your client. You can go through that together. So looking at it a little bit differently, using your verbiage a little bit differently, instead of calling it a consult, calling it a skin fitness test. And then you might have clients that you've seen for years, but maybe it's time to do another consult and check in with them. Even if it was a month ago, we should always be consulting with our clients constantly. So taking something that's very basic, that's a core thing that we do in our business, and focusing on it and just changing it up and refreshing it a little bit. So pivot number 2 is creating that grabber, that feature to make your solution stand out. So you need an innovative addition to getting customers' attention, and you need to stand above your competitors. So taking that core product and just looking at it a little differently. We all have facial scrubs, okay? But maybe now it's time to recondition your hands or your feet or your elbows or your knees, taking products that you're very familiar with and using them in different ways. We also have the ability now to drop ship. You can offer free shipping, free virtual consults, lots of ideas for parties and events, having cocktail hours and happy hours, and inviting your clients so they can meet each other online, and maybe going through a little skin consult party together. But you've got to find what that is. And each of you know what you love and what you're passionate about, and start there, what you really love, and find something that'll grab, that's that grab. Pivot number 3, defining your target customer demographics. So maybe you have a demographic for aging, and clients are really concerned about anti-aging. Well, you can take that target customer and cross-sell. So cross-selling is when we're taking a product that they would normally use or that they would normally want, but then you're bundling it together with something else that you have. So some of you already have other items in store. You have retail products, clothes, jewelry. You have other wellness products, LifeWave patches. And we can bundle those together and cross-sell. You could do little tutorials with how to use those products together. Another one that I see a lot of companies using right now is just simple things that, people are at home cooking now. So maybe you have a recipe that would be an anti-inflammatory diet type recipe, or something you just love, but you want to pair it with anti-aging. So when I think of anti-aging, I think of anti-inflammatory diet, things that would be good to help build the immune system, something like that. I would find a recipe and tie it in with a couple of skincare products. You could create a cocktail, same way. It doesn't have to be an alcohol cocktail. It could be just a healthy cocktail, like a shake, and combine that, drink this shake and use these antioxidants that are in your skincare products. So you can use it topically, and then you're getting the vitamins internally. Bundling it together with LifeWave patches. Those are light energy patches that also are helping to reverse aging, and we're combining them together. So I love this. So sometimes I look at what are the big boys doing? So let's take a look at some of these bigger stores and what they're doing and why they're being so successful. And this was Nordstrom. So this was an example, and I thought this was great. So this really got my attention. So this was the advertisement. They said, camera ready, styling tips for virtually connecting. So they've taken a problem. Okay, they sell clothes mainly. But they're talking here, okay, red carpets may be rolled up for now, but we're spending more time on camera than ever, whether it's for video conference call or a virtual happy hour. These 3 looks will have you ready for your dress up. So everybody's thinking, who's going to dress up? Who's going to do this? But they've taken a situation And they said, okay, let's take this and turn it around. This is, our core products, but we're really going to use different verbiage. We're creating 3 new looks. So they took 3 themes, didn't want to overwhelm people. So they focused on 3 things. And they actually blended it together, not just clothes. They took hair and skin and they tied it together. So they had 3 different looks. There was a rise and shine look for the morning conference call. So maybe you have to do a conference call for work in the morning. And they tied it together with a hair tie and outfit and glasses. Okay. And in the afternoon, sweet and stripes for a digital lunch. And again, they combined a skincare product, a clothing, and makeup. And then they did an after hours sparkle and shine, and it was a dress up for drinks. So now when you're getting together online, who's to say you have to be in your old t-shirt? They're encouraging people, hey, you're going to be looked at. Everybody's going to be watching you, whether it's in person or not. You want to look your best. And this picture's not that clear, but this little jacket over here to the right, I loved this. It looked so good. It was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to get it for my meeting today with y'all. I mean, it was so exciting to see all this pulled together. And okay, so it's a comfortable jacket, a workout jacket, but it's all in glitter. It's all like this glittery jacket. So they just took it up a notch. So you're comfortable, but yet super dressy. And this is perfect for meeting up for cocktail hour online. And not only do you not just need that jacket, you also need the makeup that they were selling with it, so that your skin would be glowy with their glowing highlighter. And of course, we could talk about skincare and hair and anything else that we want to add to that. This was another one they had. I thought was brilliant. Okay, so now they're taking their core product, and yes, it's kind of pajamas, but who's got pajamas like this? Okay, you need this pajama because this is the new business casual. So you don't have clothes like this anymore. So now you need to buy new clothes for your online clothes. And not only is it just your new business casual, which is like a satiny, really cool looking pajama that's sort of like a blazer, but now I can't wear my regular bra. I need this bra. And I have to make sure that I want to polish that with the right lipstick. And maybe I need some new glasses too. So I think you get the point, right? So you can take all of the things that you have now and just add some new verbiage, add some new products with it, and create a theme. So pivot number 4, switch to a more attractive and lucrative business model. So there may be many more ways than just direct consumer. Maybe before you've just been dealing with clients, but now you can go think about businesses. I know a lot of businesses are shut down, but it might be, could you please put on mute just while we're talking, and then we'll open it up in just a couple of minutes. Thank you. But maybe you could reach out to businesses, and offer some employee incentives, like you're going to do free shipping and do free consults, virtual consults for some of the bankers or the first responders, or find businesses or the grocery store people, any kind of business that might be near you that you could team up with and offer some different kinds of services. We can't see people one-on-one anymore, but we could offer visual services. Auto shipping. That's another one to take advantage of with a lot of your vendors. If you don't want to ship yourselves, there's a lot of vendors right now that are offering drop shipping, and then also auto ship. This is one where businesses have been super successful. So I think now's the time to get your clients on auto ship. Give them a break on price, or some other benefits, like once a month you're going to offer, a free virtual consultation with them if they do the auto ship, say it's $100 a month and they get a product every month and the ability to have a virtual consult with you. All the big businesses that do extremely well have people on auto ship plans. So you don't have to look very hard or very long to find the pain point. And it doesn't have to be super difficult or super painful. It could be something very simple. Just take, for example, if your client, you've just shipped them some products, but now you could, they're going to have a hard time because we take for granted how easy it is. We know all the steps and everything else. But sometimes clients, it's not as easy for them. They get the product and they're like, I don't really know. How am I supposed to use this? Am I supposed to use this first or after, or what, at what step? You could create a little video and send it to them along with the gift that they just got, the purchase that they just have, or put a note in the bag or a sticky note that they could put on the mirror that gives them the instructions. It's not the big things, it's the little things that we do that make a big difference. So solving those problems. And also we talked a little bit about promotions and discounting, but you have to be very careful with that. Thinking about how are you going to offer things to clients? Or do you want to be super low on your pricing, but then you got to be careful with that. If you get too low, then you have no place to go but down. It's hard to go back up. So you have to consider creating more value. The most important thing is creating value. Lower prices doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the biggest and the best. Adding value to your product and services, that's where it drives loyalty. So thinking about what you can add, that value added, like adding that little note to the box, giving them the instructions, sending them virtual instructions on what to do, keeping in touch with them. All the little things that are going to add value are going to be huge. And that's what's going to separate you from the next person. And plus two, you're keeping in front of your clients. That's super important right now because it's going to be way too hard getting them back after. Pivot number 6, consider alternative technology. So we've already talked about a lot of this, using other forms of technology are super important. Don't get comfortable with just one. You might love Facebook, but maybe it's time to, or Instagram, but maybe you have to switch that up a little bit. Don't forget email or even regular mail. Texting, if you haven't been using a texting service yet, that's something that could be really valuable and worth the money that it costs. It is a little more expensive to get on some of these texting programs, but most people will look at their text, and that's a great way to advertise your different promotions. Staying in touch with people is to maybe using that services as well. So adding complementary wellness products and devices for home use. So we have a lot of home care devices now that clients can use. So why not sell them yourself rather than having the client go online and sell them? Look into different ways that you could get product to move to your customer. And wellness really is the future of the aesthetic industry. If you look at what's happening, it's been happening for years, and it's just become even more so, where medical has combined with aesthetics, and more and more of our wellness is coming into play because it just makes sense. I mean, it is the 360-degree approach. You're going to get a much better result if you're looking at your diet, your exercise, your health, your nutrition, the type of product you're using topically and internally. All those things together are going to give you a much better result. And even in the plastic surgery offices, they're all going wellness. So wellness is a huge part of our industry. It's a huge part of your industry, your business. Think about things that you'd like to add that are going to complement what you're doing, so that if the services continue to slow down, or we just have to really think about building up other ways of income. And number 7 is adapting to the emerging customer need or pain. So as economic conditions change and government regulations evolve, businesses are motivated to seek new tools and processes for risk reduction and continued growth. It can be extremely valuable to pivot the focus of your business from productivity to compliance. So basically, I think this message and what it's saying is that you've got to keep everyone safe. Safety is paramount. Our business will dry up and it'll go away if we cannot keep people safe. So we've got to figure out a way to do this as safely as possible and as responsibly as possible. So staying in touch with their government guidelines. And pivot 8, positioning your business as a social enterprise versus a commercial enterprise. So doing the right thing. Entrepreneurs with a passion can keep their social focus while pivoting their business strategy to make money. But I do believe that you can make money by helping people. I do believe that everyone in this business, your hearts are to help people. And we want to help people look better and feel better. So pivoting your business is very natural. It's a natural thing. It does not mean that it's a bad thing if that you started your business thinking about, oh, this is one way that I'm going to do it, and then you have to change your mind about how you were doing it. That's actually very smart. So pivoting is a big part of business. You're constantly pivoting to stay ahead of the game. We're constantly evolving and changing. So it doesn't mean that we failed. This is really just kind of a wake-up call for us to do things better in the future, and how we need to reposition and how we need to think about our business and how we can generate income from it. And these are some of the things that are available at your fingertips now. There's tons of marketing to support all of this. Tons of drop ship available, online education to help support you. Image has, I've never seen so much from Image, and I've never seen it so fast. They really did a good job at moving quickly on this and providing you with all kinds of information. So you can go on the website, and everything is on the website now, from your marketing to your education, online, recorded. I'm also evolving with my company, and I'm adding more. You can see that I'm adding more wellness. I've added more products. I'm going to have more webinars on the LifeWave, which has been an absolute godsend. It's an incredible product that I've had amazing results with, and that's all light-based energy. So I'd love to talk to you more about that. That's for another time. Also on my website, if you need help with marketing, if you need help with social media, I have a fantastic social media person. I have a fantastic web person. Maybe it's time to redesign your website. Everybody's online. And quite honestly, if you don't have a website, then you're not available. You're not relative out there. You've got to have a website, and that's like your first impression, and people are going to go on it to check you out first before they do any business. So things to think about, but I'm here to help you support your business in that way. As I was saying, we also have Glenda Jeffords, and she's the life coaching. So we're going to have more on her again. And life coaching it's lifestyle coaching based on integrative health principles. It's well studied, it's scientifically validated, and it's a method of health coaching. So she'll be talking more about that. I just wanted to throw this out there as well. I know there's a real mask shortage. There's a couple of ways this company right here in the middle, it's called Mask Match. If you do have access to any masks, they send them directly to, it's a website that coordinates getting masks to first responders and to medical people that need them. You can also donate. You can make, and they're even asking for people to make masks. So these are some other links that I put up here, and you can screenshot any of this, but that I thought were really cool. And as for marketing, the first one that's in pink up there with the 2 different mask styles, if you haven't seen that, I did put that one on my Facebook, but that was an incredible way of presentation. So if you want to learn about presenting online, she did a great job at presenting. And then some of these other ones also had masks. I actually ordered and were sold out, but they also tell you how to make them yourself. So even having some protection, and you can treat your masks if you're making them at home, you can make them even more effective by using like vacuum bags, like HEPA filters, and using that instead of interfacing for the mask, you can put them inside the cotton mask, and that'll give you extra filter on the mask. You can also treat them with antimicrobial products that are meant for fabrics, and that'll make them more effective as well. So even with your homemade masks, you can treat the materials and make them more effective. But I would encourage everyone to wear masks wherever they go. Here's some other links. When it comes to funding, I know some of us need funding. A lot of us are 1099s, and we're self-employed. We're not employees. So it's been tough trying to find ways of getting income. They were supposed to come out with some new legislation for 1099s, and that people that are self-employed, besides the loans, there are the Small Business Association that does do the loans, but those aren't free either. You definitely have interest. There's some low interest and delays in payment and all that, but they are loans, and you do have to pay them back. But there are some other options. So, and they're constantly coming out with new options. These are just a few links to constantly check. This week, I think they're supposed to be bringing out some new options for people that are self-employed. So take a look this week and see if there's anything new added to those links. And then of course your cosmetic board of arts, you need to check with your state and make sure that you're current, constantly check in, see if any of the things have changed, because everything's constantly changing and evolving. All right, so let's open this up. For anyone have any questions? Who would like to share something? Questions, comments? Anyone doing some of these things already? Something that's working for you that you'd like to share with other people?
Hi, Gail.
Hey.
This is Carmen. I'm sorry I didn't have my video on because my kids are, I'm homeschooling the kids, trying to.
Yeah, God bless you.
Things. But thank you so much. And I have the participants button where we can raise hands. Maybe if we can raise our hands for questions for you, that might be easier for you to see.
Okay.
Like, under participants, we unmute ourselves and then mute ourselves out when someone is talking, but I can raise my hand, I think, right? Or chat or send a, do you see my message? I say, thank you, Gail, for this webinar. So you can see my message.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't looked actually because I've been busy doing this, but.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's great.
I don't see my chat box actually. Usually I see the, I don't see the chat box.
So it's under participants. I don't know.
I have participants up.
Yep. So it's under participants. And do you see my hand up next to Carmen?
Yes.
Okay. So I just raised my hand and it's under more, and I can lower my hand and I can raise it again. So I can ask questions that way. Maybe it's more effective than.
Yeah, I just don't see the chat box. And normally I see a chat box, but I guess I didn't click that button for this one because I just thought
Oh,
everybody would talk.
yeah.
So go
So
ahead
the
and say what
chat
you said
box,
in your chat.
yeah, it's under participants. So once you pull up participants, it's on the lower left corner. If everyone can see that too, we can chat. You just click on chat under participants.
Yeah, it's not. I don't have that, but let's just talk instead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I guess I'll go first. I have a question. Since with this UV lights and all that stuff, people are prying them out online, and I see a lot of different wavelengths, and some are very detrimental for skin if not used if you
Yes.
come in contact with it, and then of course it's damaging for the eyes. What is your recommendation for using those handheld ones? Of course, the ones that are hospital grades, you have to leave the room, because if that hits your skin, you're gonna have skin cancer down the road probably. What is your recommendation for that while we're trying to keep everything sterilized and clean?
Yeah, great question. And ozone and UV are fantastic, but too much of a good thing, of course, has detrimental effects. And they're not all those different pieces of equipment are not created equal. So they are, you have to follow the manufacturer's directions and the manufacturer, because some of them are for home use and some of them are commercial or industrial. I bought the commercial one because I wanted to treat my house. So, you have to be out of the room. You turn, and it's UV and it's ozone. You leave it on for anywhere from 30, it's got a timer on it. So depending on how big your room is, if you have you're treating a small room, obviously you don't need it on that long. If you're trading, 5,000 square feet, then you're going to be leaving it on for an hour, so we have different times, but all the equipment's different. I would just say to try to follow the manufacturer's protocols on each one. And of course,
Thank you.
we use UV all the time for sterilizing. We have the little cabins that have the UV, and that helps to disinfect. It's not going to kill necessarily everything, but it will help to disinfect. But yes, too much of a good thing, and then you can get sun damage. You can get skin damage too. And ozone, honestly, I've been an esthetician for years and years, and this was back in Canada, but like 40 years ago, that's what we used. Our steamers had ozone built in them, and we turned them on, and that helped people's skin. It was excellent for acne because it disinfected and it killed viruses and germs. So, but then of course there was controversy over it. So now they don't put ozone in steamers anymore, but it has to be controlled. In fact, one of the treatments, now this is, off label, and there's a physician that I see, and she's down in Boca, Florida. And she's doing some very cutting edge treatments where they use ozone, and they actually take the blood. It's like a transfusion, and they're working with COVID-19 patients right now, carriers, not the ones that are infected and dying, but right now they're working with carriers, the people that are carrying the virus, and they're taking their blood, taking it out, disinfecting it with ozone and UV, which kills the viruses, bacteria, and parasites, and then like a transfusion, putting it back into their bodies. So there's all kinds of interesting things that are being experimented with and being done right now. But yeah, that's a great question, and you would just have to really make sure you follow everyone's instructions, because they're all going to be different.
Thank you, Gail. And I think I see on my screen, Glenda raised her hand.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute myself out and let Glenda speak. Thank you, Gail.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Carmen.
So I really didn't raise my hand. I was just playing with the buttons.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm learning this too. And typically I have a chat. I don't know why it's not happening on this one this time, but if anyone else has anything to say, please just jump in.
Gail, just to dovetail on that, the same question I asked. So if there are manufacturers, say people, cannot get their hands on a commercial one, we are going to use handheld ones for now. And of course, they're not created equal. And, you do the best research you can. And if the manufacturer does not come with any safety protocol besides just don't use on skin, obviously we know that, but not everybody else does. What precaution, just like a blanket precaution, would you recommend?
Are you talking about UV sterilization? Or I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about the light energy, like from light stem or something like that? Or?
Yeah, so this is interesting. So going through aesthetic school, and of course I also have a nail license, we were taught that the UV bead sterilizers were actually not very effective. We have to use autoclave, and you still have to sanitize, disinfect. You can't just put in dirty stuff. But what's out there, I'm reading a lot of people just saying, oh, just toss your dirty phone in this box and it will sterilize it for you, or your baby's pacifier, just move it over anything that's, your blanket, your hat. And I understand there is there's a need out there. And of course, when we don't have our hands on, professional grade or industrial grade UV light sterilizer for the rooms, we can probably just use a handheld one that we can get on the market until we can get something better. Right. So I'm not talking about box where you put the towels in or your tools where, just that. I'm not talking about the nail lamps that has a different wavelength. It's the 270 nanometers and up, or 240 I read, that can cause skin mutation. Anything lower than that, it's not as effective and it doesn't cause skin mutation, but anything over that is way effective. Like hospital grade ones are 280 nanometers. So it's a different spectrum. It's a narrower or a wider wavelength. So I think people, of course, educating consumers, educating customers, right? So I'm sure everybody's going out there to buy these stuff, or we're using it ourselves just to make sure, take that extra precaution. But the safety, like you said, read the manufacturer, but a lot of manufacturers don't say anything except don't use it on skin.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
we're holding it, and it's gonna, you know what I mean? Do we wear gloves? Do we wear cloth gloves to block that absorption? Do we wear sunglasses so we don't look into it and damage our eyesight?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good question. And when they're using those in the hospitals, I know they leave the room. So you can't be in the room when you're using those kind of things. But so it just depends. Like you mentioned, it depends on the device. So I really can't speak on it unless we're talking about a specific device, and then you'd have to check with the manufacturer. But in my sanitation webinar, I think you'd find that one super interesting. So we'll talk about that another time. But thanks for bringing that up.
I always love your sanitation teaching.
It is our future.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it is our future. We do have to think about that, and that's a big part of our future. So thanks for bringing that up, Carmen. All right, anyone else?
Thank you, Gail.
All right, so any other questions? Anything else anybody would like to add?
What are you going to do Monday?
Hey, I have a question. This is Donnie. The sleep product stuff, I can order that from the factory, right? Or is that something I need to order through you?
Yes, that is through Hush and Hush. So Image's owners, Jana Roner and Dr. Mark, they have another company called Hush and Hush, and they created supplements. So I'm not carrying their products any longer, but you can get them directly from their company, Hush and Hush.
Okay, and I just call Image, or do I look it up online?
Yeah, it's a separate company altogether, so that would be through Hush and Hush.
Thanks.
If you have any trouble, just text me and I'll give you their contact info.
Awesome, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. And Blake, you were saying something?
Are you doing this again Monday?
Yes, I'm going to be doing this every Monday at 10 o'clock. I know today was kind of long, but I felt like there was a lot that I wanted to cover and really reiterate. So I'm really hoping that that helped, just kind of inspire some thinking about business and maybe a direction that we need to go.
Something that we're thinking about doing with Zoom and our customers is Mask Monday. So to think about next Monday if we all showed up with our favorite mask on.
Yeah, that would be fun. That's a good idea. Yeah, and some people are doing parties like that. Oh, I finally got my chat back. Okay.
Now I just want to get all the like stuff off the bottom of this one.
Hey, Gail.
Yes.
This is Tamala. I was looking, and I already have one of those small kits where you came in to school. So can I get that little blue bottle?
Yeah, sure.
It was behind you. You moved it.
Yeah, no, I was looking for your name though. So I could put your name to the product.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone joining. I think that's great ideas. If you have ideas on topics, and I think Blake, that might be an interesting idea to do masks on Mondays. But I think too, I'm going to take any other requests. Anybody would like to email in and some different ideas, and I'll be happy to talk about them.
Thanks again, Gail.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining. And I'll look forward to next Monday. You all have a great week. And if you have any questions in the meantime, just let me know.
Same to you.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Same to you. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.